It's Tuesday on Your View. Welcome to the show. I am Morayo Afolabi Brown. As always, I have the ladies with me. Right, get in the building.
Yo, good morning, good morning.
You and Miriam are pinking and blacking today. How you doing?
Fine. I just wanted to, my daughter's mother-in-law died a few weeks ago, and they just gave them the keys to her house. They gave her son the keys. They just gave, they said, because she had a carer with her, and they thought that the carer neglected her. That's why she died.
Oh, right.
So it was a police case.
Investigation.
So they didn't release the body, and nobody could go into her house while it was a police case. In Nigeria, it's a different thing. Me, I don't know how someone can send a petition that my life is in danger. And then he now dies. And police don't, their antennas don't go up and say, before you bury that body, wait. Let us investigate.
We had something on the
You now want to just exhume the body. I beg you. That is my own lamentation today. Because I don't understand why the body was allowed to be buried without proper
The conversations we
investigation.
have, and I think the family also felt that they had the right to bury their child. They wanted to bury. So
If there's criminal suspects.
A petition is different from when you actually when the case starts. So somebody, according to what the police had told us, is that they get lots of frivolous petitions every day. It's not every time they can keep following up. So this happened. Somebody lost a loved one. They buried their loved one. Now that everybody has raised an issue, they are now coming to say we have to exhume the body because it's not their right.
The issue was raised long before it was. As he died, people started shouting. The wife made a
social
video.
media. And that's not police reports. We have to take it to the police.
No, what YK is saying is that you already have a case or
It's a criminal.
a report with you,
Yes.
and that person dies. It's not they're saying that means it was a police report specifically, but it should go off in your brain that wow, like a red flag.
Yes.
This must be.
And that's why they released the petition to us to let them know that this person spoke to us.
Evidence. They can't do anything without evidence.
So we just need our job.
But the
YK.
person died after the petition.
Yes. Why is that? That's why our job is to teach Nigerians how to ensure we get justice properly. Because we can lament and scream on social media. I don't expect the police to just be on social media waiting for the lamentation.
to jump in.
Their job is to bring.
But in this case, there are no
But
ways.
they are on social media. The police-
yes.
That's the new world.
And apart from any, because there was a petition,
Yes.
was when the red flag should have gone up to the police that first, don't bury it first, let's check.
Anyway.
Because they already had the petition now.
Yeah. It's quite, it was a very painful death. Everybody has become journalists, everybody has become an investigator on this matter, everybody has become evidence. I mean, people are just gathering, and hopefully now the police has already constituted a committee to do this investigation. They've given themselves 2 weeks. Hopefully, by the end of these 2 weeks, we get real justice, because that's what we want. And we also need to learn from this to ensure that when people like this come out in pain, it's not after the fact that all of us, because we are all complicit. It's easy to say police is at fault, but we also, many people are just bringing out videos after the man died. The man has been complaining, nobody's talking, we didn't know about, I didn't know who
I guess the videos must have been, I don't follow social media like that.
I didn't even know him.
So people knew about the videos.
should have come out.
The videos
This guy
had
needs
come
help.
out. No,
Yes.
the videos had come out. People had been shouting already. They had posted the
didn't see
videos already.
After he died.
After he
No,
died.
no. The videos were before he died. now.
But nobody said anything
But
about it. Nobody
the
raised
noise
an
wasn't-
alarm. Nobody jumped to ask what's going on. How can we help?
People were raising alarm. He himself was raising alarm now.
Anyway, it's not our topic today, because obviously that was supposed to our banter. Why can't I take it of our banter today? But the point I was trying to make was that everybody is complicit somewhat. As much as it's easy to say government, we also, the people, didn't go to help this person when he was screaming for help. So all of us are all part of Mubas.
You always like to blame me.
No, I mean, when it's police job, exactly.
Are we police?
I didn't know him.
something and leave my
I didn't
job
even
and
know him until.
There are people designed to do this.
Yes, and the police
Are
got
we
a
police?
I don't understand.
In this case,
You don't
so
turn me to
Mariah.
policeman now.
You should be doing, we do government job, we do police job.
In this case, so Mariah, we don't agree with you.
We don't.
No, it's okay, it's okay. And it's okay for us not to agree.
Yes.
That's the beauty of it. I don't have to agree with you, you don't have to agree with me, and it's fine. Let's go on a break, we'll be right back. That's what the show is about.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Okay, we're going to start with the nation. Atiku Obi appeals raise concern over Supreme Court cases. Sheibu's drama at Government House deepens her row with Obaseki. Agoro likely to become Lagos head of service. Federal government NLC talks to continue. Tinubu Ramaphosa in investment talks at Onga. Excuse me. Police kill 8, arrest 9 in Shagamu cult clashes. Obasanjo justifies public rebuke of traditional rulers. FIRS recovers 4 trillion naira tax liabilities from NNPC. And petrol importers power firms behind anti-Akpabio plot. Okay, which story are we starting with in Nation?
We can do the FIRS. FIRS, yes. So the Federal Inland Revenue Service said they have recovered more than 4 trillion tax liabilities from the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPCL, and it has also collected 8.5 trillion in taxes so far this year, bringing the total to collection of 12.5 trillion. The immediate past executive chairman, Federal Inland Revenue Service, Mr. Muhammad Nami, was the one who gave the update on the tax collection administration while he was handing over to his successor, Dr. Zach Adedeji, yesterday in Abuja, and he listed everything. And he also said that, the person he handed over to, which is Mr. Adedeji, said that they will create a tax system that is both innovative and trustworthy. And the focus will be to incorporate quality data into the operations of the tax system to improve its efficiency and effectiveness. And they will try as much as possible to utilize the tax system so that they can track progress, set benchmarks, make informed decisions, and ultimately enhance performance. So this is them promising to use a lot of data to see how they can make more money for the country, Nigeria. And it's ready to work, it's ready to engage with stakeholders to see that this is a huge success.
Okay, so our president met his counterpart, his South African counterpart, yesterday at the United Nations General Assembly, President Cyril Ramaphosa in New York, and he was speaking to him concerning Africa and how they must ensure that democracy without food on the table is breeding ground for chaos. Specifically, he said that you cannot have a stable democracy in the presence of poverty of knowledge and starvation of people. Democracy without food on the table is a breeding ground for what will consume us if we don't take care. He also said that Africa is no longer a scavenging ground and it's a place with gifted people that is ready for investment and cooperation. So they must have one voice towards what Africa stands for today, and that they must ensure that democracy stands and provide food for their people. And you cannot have democracy when there's starvation in the land.
Okay, so I wanted to take the Shaibu, the deputy governor of Edo State story. Apparently he got to his office, his old office yesterday, at the State House. When he got there, the gates were locked. So he was like, he didn't know, nobody has told him that, why is his office locked? So it was a whole show of him standing at the gates, making a call, saying his office is locked, he can't enter. So, but apparently, the staff had started to relocate from Monday. They had given all of them directives to move to the new office. But he says he didn't get any written relocation paper, so he's at his office. So he calls the chief security officer, Williams Waba, and that one said, okay, I'll get back to you. According to the media aide, he was waiting for the Waba to get back to him. He didn't get back to him. But the press now contacted some staff of Obaseki who wanted to be anonymous, who said, please, why is he doing that? He knows that everybody has relocated, that...
Relocated to where?
The new
new place now.
They've given
The new place that they showed us, the papers yesterday, is the new...
But the place didn't seem ready anyway. I think we're talking about it later on.
So
I think so.
So we remember that former President Olusegun Obasanjo, had met with some traditional rulers in Oyo State, and he has said to them that they should stand up, in respect. And there was a lot of backlash for that behavior. But he's saying that he's standing firm by what he said. He's unapologetic and uncompromising on the position that the governor of a state holds the highest office in the state. He says, according to the Constitution, that respect, protocol, and dignity must be accorded to the office of the governor by virtue of the Constitution, and not to do that is denying what the Constitution says. But also there had been a statement that had been put out by Ms. Taiwo Martins, who had claimed to be his wife. They say she's the mother of 2 of his children, and she had apologized for what he did. And he has now put out another statement saying that, first of all, the lady in question is not his wife or part of the family, and nobody speaks on his behalf apart from himself and those he has delegated to do so for him. I found that really...
Said that she's an imposter. She only has 2 children for me.
I didn't want to go there. I felt because of the children, I didn't want to go there.
Health problems.
Yes, and he said...
So they know she has health problems. You know what they mean by health problems?
I thought that was in bad taste, sir, honestly.
But he's in bad taste. What he did was in bad taste.
So another one.
So if he does that one in bad taste...
Okay, let's move. Are we done? Let's move on to the purge.
Normal batis.
FG NLC meeting deadlocked. Workers insist on demands. Drama as Obaseki locks out embattled deputy from his government house. Tension as 8 killed in Ogun community cult clashes. Obasanjo insists on stand-up order to monarchs. Nigeria serving 108 World Bank loans worth $14 billion, says report. No easy solution to Nigeria's economic problem, says US. And oil companies, agencies owe federal government 9.85 billion naira revenue. Okay, which story are we starting with in Punch?
NLC and federal government, they said that the federal government and Labour talk on how to mitigate the effect of subsidy removal ended in a deadlock yesterday. The government and NLC failed to reach a compromise on post-subsidy removal palliatives for workers. They have agreed to resume negotiations on the demand by organized labor on Thursday. And also a 21-day ultimatum has been given by the NLC to the government to either meet their demands or face an indefinite strike that would expire at midnight of, Thursday. So we'll wait to see what this, how this unravels.
Okay.
So Ogun State Police Command has confirmed the arrest of 9 suspects following the killing of 8 persons at the weekend in Shagamu during a clash between a rival cult group. So speaking on the crisis during a press briefing in Abeokuta, the Commissioner of Police, Abiodun Alamutu, said the cause of the clash was a land transaction that occurred in the town. And one of the cult groups sold land to a customer and they were paid for it. The other faction, another cult group, heard of the payments, came to collect their commission, and that degenerated into the fracas that they had. They had killed about 8 persons. And according to the police, they said they were able to arrest 9 suspects already. They've been speaking with them. They found 2 guns, 2 rounds of cartridges, and evidence, with them. So because of the 9 people arrested, they are able to, get more people. So one of the persons, they mentioned his name, that was arrested had 4 dead bodies in the room when they went in and met him, and it caused a lot of disturbances in the area. People are really scared of what's happening. So the police are seriously on it. They said they are going to keep getting more people who are connected to the cult clash that's happening. So it's just painful that we're hearing from one cult clash in one area to another. This seems to be like a southwestern problem, and it needs to be
tackled quickly.
Yeah.
Let's go on a quick break. When we come back, we continue with our reviews. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. Moving on now to Daily Sun. Northern senators grouse with Akpabio exposed. Edo Governor Deputy fight gets messier. I stand by my position on Oyo Monarch, says Obasanjo. Paris Club refund FG asks court to stop the $480 million payments to consultants. Enugu state government begins sealing of illegal mining sites. Parents, guardians lament hike in fees as school resumes. Citizens home enforcers killed in gun battle with security operatives in Enugu. Okay, story we're starting with?
Okay, we could start with the sit-at-home, yes. So they said about 3 suspected members of the indigenous people of Biafra, that's IPOB, security outfit, Eastern Security Network, ESN, has been killed by joint security operatives in Enugu State. So according to the spokesman of the state's police command, Daniel Ndukwe, he said the suspects were in their hideout at Ezioha, Mbowo in Agu local government area, where they were perfecting plans to enforce the illegal sit-at-home in the state. And they got intelligence, got there about 2:15 a.m. on Monday and, opened fire on them. They were also able to break some of their other hideouts. And that was carried out by the Joint Security Team, comprising police operatives of the Enugu State Command, MPF Special Forces, and troops of the 82 Division of the Nigerian Army, Enugu. So they said they busted the criminal hideouts, and they found about 3 of them. Those ones opened fire on them first before they retaliated, and 3 of them lost their lives. And they are trying as much as possible to dislodge any group or any form of people gathering together to enforce the sit-at-home. Sit-at-home has been cancelled in the whole of the southeast, and according to the police commission, it says people should go about their normal activities, go about their lawful businesses.
Okay, so the major headline. Report is coming that the senators that were pushing for the Senate President's ouster have said that the reasons why they were doing that were 2 key reasons. One, they felt that some of the committees within, they were marginalized concerning some of the committees within the Senate, and also that the Senate President has not been able to checkmate the President's appointments as regards certain areas. Said that besides the alleged perception of Akpabio's lack of capacity to checkmate the purported domination of an ethnic nationality in the financial ecosystem, his alleged refusal to deal with powerful interest groups, particularly some petrol importers and electricity distribution companies, on some proposed financial deals bordering on 40% electricity tariff hike and payment of outstanding money to fuel importers. So remember the rumor went around of why the possibility of trying to impeach the Senate President. So according to this report, this is the reasons why that is happening. However, I think that's been resolved so far. The main issue, according to them, has been resolved, and we'll see how that goes. But that was the justification or their reason for attempting that. He's unable to check with the president in some of the appointments that seem to be lopsided, and also he has some interest groups who seem to be within the house.
So suspected kidnappers have hijacked another bus belonging to the Benue State Transport Company, Benue Links, and they abducted 15 passengers. One of the passengers was a staff of the NTA who was in Makurdi. He was an accountant in the NTA Makurdi, but was transferred to Anambra. So he was coming home. He was going from Anambra, from the east to Benue to visit his family when the bus was intercepted by kidnappers, and they were all kidnapped. 15 of them, but 4, according to this story, managed to escape. And the NTA have written to the police to say their staff, they've written to the police that, please, our staff has been arrested, has been kidnapped, so please help us find him. The report that you say that we should be doing,
They've done it.
NTA have done it.
Okay, the show.
So help us fight him.
Okay, let's move on to Vanguard. Nigeria in revenue crisis with huge public debt. 20-year debt as cultists clash in Shagamu. Article warns APC against harassment of opposition. Mobad, police to exhume body for investigation. Tinubu appoints Vanguard columnist Baba Ahmed as VP political advisor. Drama in Benin, Edo deputy governor locked out of his office. NLC to FG, you have till Friday to meet our demands. Oshu, the Apapa Expressway, how police, Ududua boys, others worsen gridlock. Okay, story?
The story I have is a continuation of the tax FIRS story, and they're just saying that there's a revenue crisis in the nation, and it requires urgent steps to change the narrative. And they went ahead to list what I had listed earlier about the tax that was they were able to gather for Nigeria, getting into trillions. And they said what they need to do now is to key into reforms being made by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, since he has inaugurated the Presidential Fiscal Policy and Tax Reform Committee, and they'll see how they can, make sure that a lot of people tap into the tax reform. They said just about 40% of Nigerians actually pay tax. They want to see how they can expand the net and get more people into it. Since we're not really making much in terms of revenue, we need to tighten our tax and see how we can lift Nigeria out of the debt crisis. We know that majority, about 70% of our revenue is used to pay recurrent bills. So maybe with the tax now, we'll be able to do something more. It's just a lot of data and details, yeah.
All right, so many of us have seen the story that the president has approved the appointment of Hakeem Baba Ahmed as Special Advisor on Political Matters, Office of the Vice President. Hakeem Baba Ahmed, who is also the spokesperson of the Northern Elders Forum, NEF, and also the senior brother of the Labour Party Vice Presidential candidate, Yusuf Dati Baba Ahmed. He also appointed 17 other special advisors and senior special assistants to actualize the agenda of the federal government across the different sectors in the economy. So many have come out to celebrate or criticize it in different ways, saying that, what are this man that you're trying to incorporate members of the opposition parties into your cabinet?
See a member of the opposition.
Others are saying he's fit for that role because of his experience and what he's done in the past. So
He
was not a member of
Celebration Symposium last year.
but reports had come out that he had condemned the president, during the
press,
campaigns.
yeah.
He had criticized.
One of the loud noises, especially concerning insecurity in the north. So the Arewa voice is one of the big voices that you
He's
hear.
a good advisor.
So
It's good that he's him. Okay.
So
Maybe
Lagos
that's very
State
vanguard.
Police Commissioner Mr. Idowu Owo Hunwa yesterday inaugurated a 13-man special investigation team to unravel the circumstances surrounding the death of Ile Uluwa Aloba
Leoluwa Aloba, yes.
Mohbad. The team is headed by the Assistant Commissioner of Police, Shahid Kasim, and is expected to exhume Mohbad's body, carry out an autopsy, as well as conduct a toxicology and histology tests. So,
Yeah. I hope.
yeah, the
Hopefully-
police will be doing their job.
it will be laid to rest what killed, because the point is, it is what killed him.
We need to figure out.
It's still under...
Any other story? Moving on to the Nigerian Tribune. Let's find a story we've not taken. How we stabbed, shot Senator Adeola's aide 3 times, his suspects. NTA staffer, 10 other passengers kidnapped in Benue. 8 killed, 9 arrested, says police. That's in Shagama court clashes. How intrigue stalled Nigeria's $2.3 billion, 25,000 megawatts power projects. Mohbad's death, police set up special investigation team. Adeyemo, USF Deputy Secretary of the Treasury, says foreign companies eager to invest in Nigeria. And finally, a Paris Club refund FG moves to block $418 million payments to consultants.
Okay, I know, remember when we took a story of the aide to Senator Olamide, that's Yayi, everybody knows him as Yayi. His aide was allegedly at the time killed by military officers.
Yeah.
You know, they were wearing military uniforms. So the police has properly investigated the case. In fact, they have caught the suspects and they have been paraded. And they found out that this is like a group of robbers. Their kingpin is an Alhaji that lives in Benin. And they wear these uniforms. They are not military officers. They wear them so that they can go past all the checkpoints.
Wow.
So what they do, they say they specifically target cars that haven't been fully registered. So they'll stop a car and ask for the papers, and then when they see that you haven't been fully registered, then they pounce on you, ask and take you, take the car away from you. But with this particular aide, they said when they had asked for the papers, that they don't know what he noticed, but he screamed out and said, when he got out of the car, he said, screaming thief, and that's why they shot him. And they shot him, they said 3 times, and also stabbed him for effect. And then they
They said the reason that one stabbed him was because he wasn't dead. That they fought him. They fought the guy that stabbed him.
Anyway, so they took the car away and cleaned up the blood and sold it to their criminal buyer in Kwara State. But thank God they've done a proper investigation. And now we know that these were not our own military officers because we were hearing all sorts of stories.
It was good that you took that story.
United States military on Monday are asking for help to locate their fighter jets. They say it cost about $80 million. And according to the story, that afternoon... No, wait now. They need help now to find
in
their
our
jets.
forest.
Pilots, they inside jets. They drive. All of a sudden, he wear parachutes, run, come out, leave jets disappear. So probably there was a mishap that happened in the jet. He had to save his life first. But he is in the hospital now recuperating, though they've not really found out what happened in the jet. Now they're looking for the jet. And because of the kind of jet, I'm telling you, because of the kind of jet it is, you know, those jets that they don't allow you track easily. It's used for... so it's very difficult for them to find. So they're asking for help. Police Morayo, if you can help them to locate this jet.
Because they have given their reports.
People will not cover me on this show.
They have written their reports, Morayo.
Do the needful.
Your view is for different views. Different views will be heard, regardless of how unpopular it is. Okay, let's go on a break. When we return, we move on to the hot topic of today. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
The Edo State Governor Godwin Obaseki and his deputy Philip Shaibu took a new twist on Monday following the decision of the governor to lock out his estranged deputy from the government house. The deputy governor got the shock of the moment when he got into his office on Monday and found that the gate of his office of the deputy governor and the main entrance leading to the story building was locked with chains and heavy padlock. Now, Vaike took the story and the updates earlier, but what are your general thoughts on this? This whole back and forth started when it seemed that Shaibu was hoping to take over from Governor Obaseki afterwards. Obaseki did not support his ambition to be governor after him, and that's when all the drama had started between both gentlemen. What are your thoughts on this? How do you think this can go, and what do you make of the entire scenario? You can call us on 081-076-41679, 091-241-63440. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read the tweets. So these are two gentlemen that together, were able to, I would say maybe we're able to work. In the initial days, the issues they had in the early days when Obaseki had to move from his party, and then this was the deputy that stood by him, and they were very, very close. And suddenly, he had an ambition, or he felt he had an ambition to be governor, and suddenly, there's a rift between the two of them. What are your thoughts on this? Let me start with Miriam. You seem to be interested in this matter.
Well, yes, I think it's interesting. It's definitely an interesting topic because we see this a lot, like governors and deputy governors. You would expect that it would be like a very body-body relationship. I can't wait for when I finish so that you can take over. But somehow it just never works out that way. And I'm curious to find out why? Why doesn't it just be more seamless, And the story of him being locked out too, the reason why I find it interesting is really that I think that the deputy governor was trying to make a point, because the story is that he already is aware of another place that had been put aside for him. So he would have gone there quietly. But I think he also wanted maybe Nigerians to know what was happening there. It seems unfair to me. I mean, can't we have our differences without... Why did they close down the office? I don't know. Were they cockroaches, rats inside? Were they just trying to fumigate? Is the place run down?
It's deserted. Nobody's there.
Yeah, they've locked it up now.
Because they locked it.
That's because they've locked it up.
So he shouldn't be there.
Yeah, but he arrived there in the morning to go to office and he found it locked.
So it sounds like theatrics.
That's what I'm saying. I said it is dramatization for me so that we will all be aware of what's happening. Yeah. He may have just gone to the new quarters quietly. Nobody will talk about it. But he wanted us to know, look at what is being done to me. And, for us to decide whether he deserves it or not. I feel that there are better ways to handle situations like this, the governor and the deputy governor can sort themselves out. And the deputy governor is in his right to have the ambition to want to take over from the governor. And if it's done the right way, you go through the polls and everything. But in what way does the governor see, are there ways that the deputy governor is sabotaging the governor that he feels uncomfortable about, that he feels he has to put him aside? You know, those are the questions I would love for people from Edo State. I wish Minima was here to give us inside gist, because I believe that there's lots of inside gist concerning this.
Yeah, so what I see is there's a perceived disloyalty. And you know how we play politics in this part of the world. I personally wouldn't have a problem with someone who is my probably subordinate, decides to, okay, after you're done with, it's not like she's planning to, or he is planning to kick me out. After you're done with this, I would like to. It will be my joy that we worked together. I would stand proud and say, I trained him, we worked together, he served me well, and now I would give my support. But I've realized that how they play politics is totally different from the ideal, you know, and it seemed like just by having that ambition, he was trying to be disloyal to him. And there were alleged forms of disloyalty that was shown. Said probably there was a time they were trying to do an election for the House of Assembly, and he was calling, so that the deputy was calling some people to say they should put his own people, and Obaseki heard it. I know those kind of inside gist that I don't have a full grasp on. But now, even if you feel this person is disloyal to me, the position of the governor is constitutional, right? Do you have that authority to change office? For what reason? So reading through some of the things that have been written, they said the new office that they had asked them to move to is not properly done. There's a lot of flooding in front. The place is not looking neat at all. There are no interiors to, you know, sort of allow him do his work there. So edging him out of his own office, is it constitutional? Does the governor have that power to lock up that building and say, get out of here? So we need somebody to really clarify that for us. Then also, there was a time he was at an event, the governor was at an event, and he came to greet, and the governor's security, you know, worked him out. They didn't let him have access. It just seemed very petty. This is someone who decides to have an ambition. Wait, let me just land this point. Someone who has an ambition and you don't find it comfortable. Do you now start sabotaging his work and they say they've taken out most of his responsibilities from him just because of this? I just feel this is not how we should play politics.
Let me take this call. Good morning. Thanks for calling from Agudo.
Hello.
You're live.
Good morning.
Good morning.
This is a very interesting topic that I personally was bothered about yesterday. So when I saw that your program was going to come up, I had to come and sit down by the TV, and good for me is a topic I was looking forward to. Now, what I want to say is that I personally felt bad that we are yet to grow politically in Nigeria, that will bring our personalities into governance. Personality that I mean, some things that probably does not even have anything to do with governance. The deputy governor has a right to nurse his ambition. He has a right to follow his ambition, whether the governor likes it or not. The governor would have been matured enough to allow him follow up with his ambition. Whatever the governor wants to do does not stop the deputy governor in any way. And the deputy governor's ambition does not also affect the governor from performing his legal duties to the people he's serving. The fact that the governor will go in fact, permit me to use this word, to stoop low, to go and lock his deputy, put him off the office. The office we are talking about, it's a public office. It's not his personal office. That place is to serve the people.
Right. Mike, what are your thoughts? It's an ambition, because aside from we might not know the intricacies of the drama between both men, because it could be deeper than this. But what we see on the surface is just that somebody has an ambition, the other person seems to be blocking it because you didn't come to me, or you didn't discuss with me, you didn't inform me, I wasn't aware. I'm hearing from the grapevine that you're trying to become governor after me. So that could probably cause the rift. Now the question is, should that be a problem? Should you feel that he's been disloyal? Is that enough to put a red flag of disloyalty on somebody who's worked with you?
Well, I don't want to go into the causes because really, like you have said, you can never know unless one of them comes out, and preferably Obaseki. Because Philip Shaibu, on the surface, what we are seeing is he has made overtures to the governor. He has withdrawn his case from the court. He has, he went to greet him at an
Event.
So it's either Obaseki is very petty or he has done something really bad
That he doesn't want to say.
that he doesn't want to say.
Unforgivable.
Exactly. It's unforgivable.
That in his own book might be unforgivable because, well,
Yeah.
so I don't want to, but on the surface, what we are seeing is two elephants are fighting and it's the grass that suffer. It's the Edo people that are suffering.
Let me
All
take this call from Edo. Let's see how much of suffering is going on there. Good morning. Thanks for calling.
Good morning.
You're live. Go ahead, please. I'll say.
Yeah, most of those things are happening in those states. And the funniest is that people that don't even understand what is going on, they are the ones that are trying to make it public more. Because these same people, if you check those states like structure like Nigeria, where you have the east, the southwest, and the north. So the issue is that Edo North has provided governor 2 times since, once, that's Oshomole. So you have Ibile John, this president of Obaseki from Edo South. Now, it's the turn of Edo Center to provide governor. It has been agreed even before these people came to office. This issue of zoning, was brought in by PDP. So now, they have said that those central should provide governor. This deputy governor is his turn. This is local stuff we are here in Nigeria. And it's going to become the governor. Obaseki said, no, we agree on this thing earlier, before. After him, to go to Edo Center. But this deputy governor is saying, no, we want to be the governor. The issue has been going on behind the scenes for so long. It's not been made it public. Because
Shaibu, the deputy governor himself, has said publicly, if you recall, when he was stopped at the church during the Thanksgiving service, during the 32nd anniversary, from accessing the governor who was sitting with his wife. The security operative has stopped him. And he was trying to say that, listen, my loyalty to the governor remains absolute. I see that everybody is in solidarity. I'm also in solidarity with the governor. I am also declaring my unloyal loyalty to the governor and nothing more. My ambition is personal. As for the issues that are around town when I was away, I really would not want to talk about them, especially about the governor. He's my elder brother and boss, and I don't think I should talk about anything. So, I mean, this is almost being a victimish way of saying that, say, I can tell you that for my Christian background, if you make a vow with God that you want to do something, you must fulfill it. And the vow I have taken with God is that I will continue to support Governor Obaseki as governor, although he also has the ambition. I don't know. I don't see the problem here, though.
Yes, like you said, we would never know until we hear from Obaseki himself. The person that we're really hearing from and seeing the videos seems to be the deputy governor. We hear that he's definitely he's definitely loyal to the governor. He seems to be doing, everything right. But there must have been something that has happened for the governor to keep insisting on, like he's victimizing him in some way. Yeah. But, okay.
Sorry, I was just going to say, let's say I offend Miriam. And Miriam and I know what happened. And then I will be saying to me, in public, Miriam, Joe, Mabinu, and then I'll be pinching her behind. And Miriam will be saying, I was like, what is wrong with this girl now? She's begged, she has begged you. Meanwhile, I'll be I will do behind. But nobody, so you don't know that.
It's also possible that nothing happened. These politicians have their ways. He may have somebody in mind who he wants to take that position when he leaves, anointed person. And then you coming forward is like, so what do you want me to do now? Should I divide my loyalty or something? It's politics we're talking here. It may not be anything painful.
I don't agree.
It may just be the fact that you are not, the way we are in this part of the world. Let me just land this point. There are some persons who would not want other people to rise above them, especially people who they feel you have been something under me before. Now, so when I now leave, it will be on record too that you are a governor. It's not possible. It could also come from that angle. So we can never tell what has transpired. Something may still not have transpired. This is just politics. I don't want to
you're
hear.
right.
I
Like
agree,
that.
but the governor has said, or sources close to the governor have said that he wants somebody from Edo North.
Okay, apart from
And that they have been in power for the last how
Yeah,
many?
back
So it's the turn of another local government.
Yeah.
That might be it.
Yeah.
Okay,
And
let's
Shaibu is known
Even
to be the political
having said that-
person between them.
let me go.
He's
Having
the-
said that,
okay.
come back and continue this conversation. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. As I said, we're just speaking based on face value. And what Tokwe said something yesterday about leverage. You know, some people have that political clout that when they come and take power, they might diminish your own, whatever clout you have. So there are other issues that could be where Obaseki might be fearful of this man's ambition, that this guy becomes governor like this. All the stronghold, because you know when you leave the job as a governor, you either become a godfather-ish or somebody who has authority over certain groups. But if this person becomes governor, it might reduce that. We don't know. I'm just saying these are all speculations based on what calculations.
But if you
the governor might make.
if the governor is playing that game, he's making the deputy governor a victim. And he's making himself look bad and making the deputy governor the hero. And so people are going to, you know how we love the underdog in Nigeria? Everybody's going to support
What
him.
happened with him and Oshimole?
Yes, exactly. But, you know, the way I also see the deputy governor, Philip Shaibu, is that he's such a politician. You know, making the call. Yes, so making the call, approaching him in public at that event. You know, those are very calculative.
God bless you.
So you're like, look at me. I came to greet him at church. Look at me. I went to my office. You know that he knows that files have been moved maybe weeks ahead. He knows that they have been moving back and forth. But he approached that office like, hey, I just came to the office.
Documenting all of it to show that, listen, I'm the victim.
Yes.
I've tried.
I'm the underdog.
Let me take this call. Good morning. Thanks for calling.
Politics.
Good morning, ladies. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Yes. Like one area that I was expecting people to mention, but you have not mentioned it.
Yes.
You see, I'm not surprised about what happened in Edo. In Yoruba, they say there's some head, you don't offend them. Because if you offend them, you betray them, there's consequence. Oshimole went out of his way to bring people to government. Shuabu was his godson. But they betrayed that man, they humiliated that man to nothing. Today, look at it, they are fighting. They have not started. Unless they go back to Oshimole to ask for forgiveness, to pay for Shuabu. Otherwise, they are just starting. So don't betray people that help you to any power. God bless you.
Thank you. I didn't
They
hear
say he
you.
betrayed Oshomole.
I
this
what's
is happening
done
to
for
him.
I said it earlier that it is what he did to Oshimole.
Don't bite the hand that feeds you.
Because Oshimole was the godfather that put him there. And when he put him there, I think Oshimole must have been saying, do this, do that. I said, let me govern. Okay, no, I'm not even doing it again. Let me go to another party. Because he wasn't obeying Oshimole,
Obaseki.
He aligned with Shaibu.
and Oshimole wanted to put another person because he wasn't doing his bidding. How I saw the politics at that time.
Yeah.
And
That's what's
people
coming
now
back to bite
followed-
him now. That's what's coming back
let's
to
take
bite him now.
The person that he
Take
liaised
a few
with
comments on social
is
media.
now biting his yash.
YK.
Okay, TV.
We're not allowed to kill you.
Let me take this call, Yakub. Morning, Yakub. Thanks for calling.
Good morning, ma. And then good morning, ma. Good morning, Mary, and all the good morning.
Good morning.
Mariah, for me, I don't have any sympathy for Shuaibu, to be fair. But the truth is this.
You know, if not Shuaibu, Obaseki could have not become a governor at the second time because Obaseki is not a politician. He is not a politician. It was Roshi Omole that went hide and brought Obaseki to politics and then make sure that he becomes the governor of that state. I can tell you for free, the former commissioner of information in that state, Inspector of Katim Asedwa, all of them, they bring Obaseki into power at that time. They told the Omele not to do so, but I don't know why the Omele disagreed with all of them at that time, and then make sure that Obaseki becomes the governor. And then the second time, you can see how Shuaibu was lambasted every forum. Shuaibu would be so arrogant to Shuaibu at that time. But what makes Shuaibu to fail at that second time is that even at that time, Shuaibu already demarcated the person that wanted to brought in at the second time against Obaseki. So the PDP, they have less work to do. They are just playing the figure of Shuaibu, the marketing, I forgot the other guy that protested against at that time. So I don't have any sympathy for both of them. As it is now, there's nothing to do that will make both Obaseki and then this time try to become the governor. The person that Obaseki wanted to become the one.
Okay, thank you very much, Yakub.
Yeah,
You take a few comments and wrap up.
Yeah, correct. Michael says, well, this same Shuaibu fought his brother Shomele for Obaseki, so now so it be. Moses Ade, in replying to Kore, says, you're absolutely wrong. It's not the call of the governor to decide who presides over the people of Edo. It's the prerogative of the people. The people of Edo should be protesting. Oladidi says, the phone call clip is like watching comedy, like typical phone call between Sabinus and Edu.
Honorable Ademola Alalade says, the governor and the deputy are not demonstrating gentlemanliness with the way they are going about their differences. They should behave civilly and respect each other. Politics should not be seen as a do-or-die thing and it should be played clean as people are watching.
Okay.
Oladidi says, people are suffering trying to survive. This matter is trivial and should not make the news at all. Corey Michael says, but unfortunately, that is the sort of politics that is being played in Nigeria. Show me one governor in Nigeria that doesn't choose his successor. And that was my point exactly. Why must you choose your successor? Why are governors always so lording it over their deputies and lording it over everybody? Please,
Sometimes,
don't be...
Can I answer that question?
Yes, please.
And I'm not answering for them, because I know you will say that I'm supporting government. But usually, sometimes when it seems that a governor tries to get a successor, because you only have 4 years or 8 years, and you can't really have full development in 8 years. So you want somebody who understands your vision, who you know can drive what you're doing and ensure longevity in your plans for the people. So if you bring in somebody, a total stranger comes on, he might totally reverse a lot of things you've done. So you are building a bridge and somebody, Mr. A is the one that you have given the job to do the bridge because you know you can do it. Somebody comes and says, no, my brother can do it better, you now reverse it. There are different things.
So I get that for different parties,
yes,
but I don't get that for the person that you've been working with in the 4 or 8 years. That's your right-hand man.
So when the person is your right-hand man, you know them better. You realize, now that I know BC I've been working with, I thought we are cool. But after working so closely with BC,
I see some shady ways.
This person may not be able to do things. Remember our governor, our former governor, the president now, his deputy, Pedro at the time, also wanted to be run. He went to go and pick Fashola. So people know that, I'm not saying anything against Mr. Pedro, I'm just saying that anybody who works closer to you might know you better than the people sitting outside. So maybe that's why some governors like to pick their successors.
That's one side.
Just one side.
There's also another side of you may now know the BC and realize that the BC is no nonsense person. The BC would uncover the loopholes which you have left to still be
or show that you're a thief.
Or show that you're a thief, which you want to be feeding from when you are out of government. So instead of putting the BC now that will open her mouth and just say everything like that, let us put the person who I know that will
cover my
tracks.
Yes.
So there are different ways we can, yes.
So it's a
or
solve this problem.
The BC will chop alone, she will not share.
It's possible.
So we never really know.
Yes.
Until they get there.
Yeah. But what will solve this, which we always advocate for, is to have the right systems, which keeps the government in continuum. Yeah. So the
Exactly.
fear of
whether it's another party
yeah,
or
so
the
it
same
doesn't
party.
matter. The fear of the project that I have started, somebody will come and scatter it, will not be there because the system ensures that this project must be completed. Whoever comes into that office, you know.
Let me take this call from Olariwaju. Good morning, Olariwaju. Thanks for calling.
Hello, good morning.
You're live.
Thank
Go
you
ahead.
for keeping me with you
So
for
sorry.
10 minutes.
Sorry, sir.
I will go in different dimensions. You know, I tried to call yesterday, but I was unable to get through. I got 4 questions to ask the police officer, the public commissioner officer yesterday, but I couldn't get through. Maybe you can pass this question to him. Number 1, I think Sister Yemi have already mentioned that petition. Here in UK, if everybody, you know, even in online, not even petition, someone threatening your life, police will go after you. Firstly, they will go after that person to either invite him or arrest him or come and clear himself. The whole petition being written and it was being kept aside. That's number 1. I don't know why. I can't understand it. Number 2, that guy calling Larry, what's his own business within the music that is after this guy? Why don't you act with him? I don't understand.
I didn't get the second one.
And then,
He's asking about what is Larry's business with music.
So I think they say he's a show promoter.
Or what is he?
Okay, that's all we can take on the segment concerning Deputy Governor Shebu of Edo State. Let's go on a break. When we come back, we'll move on to another topic. Stay with us. We'll be back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So, in a mild drama, YK's uncle, former President Olusegun Obasanjo,
You're looking for my word.
commanded a list of Oyo monarchs present at the inauguration of the Iseyin campus of Ladoke Akintola University of Technology to stand and greet him. He said in Yoruba, "I greet the kings and chiefs here sitting. I'm grateful that you are here. Let me say this, wherever the president or governor is, the king's present must stand up to honor him." In Yoruba land, there are only 2 things. You actually greet the monarchs and royal fathers and thank you for coming. He said, but let me make something clear. Whenever the governor of the president is present, even the royal fathers must stand up to honor him. Anyways, he now asked them to stand up and then asked them to sit down, and they sat. And obviously, everybody has gone for him. Even the Obas Council said that they will respond to him in due time. They didn't want to join issues with him, and they just felt that they respect the elders. And many obviously have condemned his acts. Lots of monarchs across the nation, especially southeast, southwest, have condemned it. However, his wife, according to what we read in the papers, tried to apologize almost immediately to the Yoruba monarchs, saying that, you know, my husband, apologizing on his behalf. Waike's uncle now replied in today's paper saying that she's an imposter, that she shouldn't, she only has 2 children from him, that she cannot speak for him, he knows how to speak himself, and he stands by what he said. Now, there are many angles to this conversation, and the angles are multifaceted because we've seen this same former President Obasanjo, who has actually bowed to greet kings. He has bowed for the Oni, he has bowed for many other, Malafi. I mean, we've seen him in the past. There are videos and pictures of him. He actually respects them. So it was quite shocking to see his behavior towards these monarchs. Now, is it because they were not the first-class monarchs? That's one question. Is it because he feels that, you know, I can greet you publicly, but in private, you should be greeting me or something like that, you know.
You should
But
greet me.
in public, you should greet
public,
me.
you should greet me.
Private, I'll
Private,
greet
I can greet you. What are your thoughts? Or do you think the Yorubas themselves have watered down the throne so much that even a past president can speak down at them?
Ew.
Which part do you want to start with? Waike, let's start with this. This is your family member. Ogun State. Ogun State
I
things
will,
now.
this, for clarity's sake, I want to totally disregard that comment from Mariah saying somebody is my family member. My name is Anikula Kokuti. Other people have other names.
You know from Ogun State. Your family members now.
I don't understand. Is it everybody from Ogun State that
Especially the history between those two families, I feel.
They are miles apart. Oh, go ahead, I was just messing with you. Go ahead.
I know, but I have to disregard
it's
on record.
Yes, it's on record.
I have no
Evidence. We're gathering it.
in the comment in the topic.
Social
Even your father made
Go ahead, Mike. What are your thoughts on passengers?
For me, I agree with that third thing you said about the watering down of the Yoruba monarchy. You see, the thing is, before colonialism, these Obas were our heads. They were. Now, the colonialists came, and then they, conquered us, so to speak, watered down the monarchy, the
The
kings,
power, the authority.
the authority. They made themselves above
Yes.
the kings in Africa. So those ones now had to be, because they had conquered them, they had to be saying, yes, sir, 3 bags full, sir. What happened when they now handed over to when we gained independence, we now carried it on our head
Democracy.
more than the people that came to colonize us, and started to lord it over the. A governor, a president can just say, I don't want you to be king again. Remove you, whether it's your right to be there. They have completely, and then I want to say, from where I stand, when I look at the king of Benin, the Oba of Benin, he gave so much respect.
Yes, so you're
So much respect. Do you understand? So I have seen where Obaseki was almost groveling on the floor for the king of or the Oba of Benin. Then they will come to my own Yoruba people. They will just be doing. Some of them will even wear hat on their head. How can you, an Oba, put that thing on your head, turban on your head, and say you're an emir? And they have mixed everything.
Yeah.
So, of course, they don't, even if they wanted to have respect for them, they don't have respect for them.
I see where you're going to. But let me get your own initial thoughts before we go.
Okay, so initial thoughts for me, I'm like, the Queen in England, they all bow to her, they all curtsy before her. I mean, she's just a ceremonial head, as they say. She's been there, but the government has, even the king now, but then the Queen, but the government would bow to her, to them, or the king, the Queen, whoever it is. But I don't know for, the much smaller titles, if they get that sort of respect. I don't know I understand where our former president is coming from. We have a constitution,
Yes.
and we have a governor. And based on that, we respect the office of the governor. It's not the age of the governor. It's not the way he looks. It's the office. So he comes and then we respect him. Now, I know that if the Oni was there, or the Alafin, those big names that we hear when it comes to traditional rulers in the Southwest, I don't think this conversation would have happened. I think it has to do with the level,
the hierarchy.
Yeah, the hierarchy, and at that level, you can show respect to the office of the governor. Having said that, I do not also think that was the place to say, okay, rise, as if you're talking to children.
Stand up.
And okay, sit down. Why can't we have this conversation and have a rule about how the lower cadre of the Obas should, interface with government? Why should we make them look like petulant children and be telling, get up, rise up, and sit down. It's so disrespectful. It was
And
so
then they stood up.
Yeah, it was.
Can you imagine?
No, sometimes
was
it
age.
can happen
It
in
was because
shock.
of age, yeah. It
No,
was
it can even
shock.
happen in
It
shock.
could be,
You're like,
reflex.
what's happening here?
Like Jack in the Box.
Yes, you know, even you know, it's like you can imagine it's likely to even happen to us. Someone that will respect will come here and say, people will not stand up. At first you'll be like, okay, what's happening?
Yeah,
You stand up and sit, and I think that's what
was
happened.
reflex,
It
yeah.
just seemed disrespectful the way that he did it. But we need to discuss the office, the constitution, how we see our government heads, our president, our governors, and how our monarchy should, relate with them. How do we want it to be? And secondly, I'm so sorry. I want to talk about because they're so, they're at the grassroots. I've also talked about it. There's some beliefs and superstitions that our Obas tend to have. And I know that government has come in sometimes and has been like the saving grace for a lot of people. Sure. So it may not be disrespect that was meant to happen, but it has happened because there's exposure, there's education on the government side that grassroots hasn't yet sort of caught up with. And so that has to also be sort of leveled, education at that grassroots, so that our local heads too will have the confidence to stand before anybody and ask for and protect their people.
Let me come to you. Your thoughts,
So when I saw the video, the first question I asked was, what's the level of the chiefs or the Obas in front?
Yeah.
Were they appointed? Because I wanted to know. I knew that there's some caliber of Obas who he will not say that to.
Yeah, there's first class and first grade.
Yeah,
There are
so
different grades.
I was trying to figure out who are these people, who appointed them, how did they get there, is it constitutional or is it traditional, however. But I've also realized something, that for someone who is a choleric and someone who is a very forceful person, used to control, used to power, I know that as you get older, it gets worse. And, outside the country, in other climes, in European countries and all of that, at this age, you should have a handler who would help him on how to conduct himself outside. No, honestly, because as they get older, I've had an elderly man like a grandfather, over 90-something. When you come close to him, the kind of things he's saying, like they don't care anymore. They can say anything and get away with it. Nobody will, you don't have a right to be upset, right? He's at that stage right now. And this is the time that for him to still make public appearances, he needs a handler. That would, we've seen clips of presidents.
This man is still active.
Hold on, you're not getting the point. You're not getting the point. No, get my point, get my point. He's very active, his brain is very sharp.
I need to ask you a question. I need to ask you a question before you finish that point.
Okay.
You give him a handler. When the
handler will be beaten.
When he gets up on the stage and mishandles himself, what's the handler supposed to do? Jump and snatch the mark from his hand?
You just pray that he listens to you. So I've seen some video clips. No, hold on now. I've seen some video clips of the president. I don't want to mention his name. A very elderly president in the Obodo of something, who some clips just escaped. They don't show us all these things. They only show the good part. They instructed him. His handler was speaking to him. Walk there, shake this person, move this way. He was confused. He didn't know where he was going. Yeah. He didn't know where he was going. But they keep doing practicing. They keep practicing. It's our own country. Practicing and practicing and practicing and hoping that he would listen at some point. So I just want to, I know that he was not happy when his wife came to say, please, Wema, no. He says it's not his wife and all of that. But I think Nigerians need to just understand where he is. Yes, where he is at the moment, and see his track record of how he's been loyal, how he's been respecting the Obas time before, and just make that excuse for him. But I don't think on a normal day he would have done that.
Controversy one.
Yes.
Many say, grapevine, that this man is not a real Yoruba man. That is ancestry.
Wow.
Southeast. We don't know.
Nice.
I'm just saying, that's saying it's because of that. Wow. That he can see a whole Oba.
You say conspiracy.
Conspiracy, not controversy. Conspiracy one is that he's not a real man of the soil, son of the soil. He is not. That if not, he can never talk to Obas like that. As I say, it's a conspiracy. We don't know how true it is. But just like you said, I watched that. If the see the clip, when they told the man to raise up, I did exactly what you said.
Yeah.
We're looking at each other.
Like,
we're still dismayed. Like, what's going on?
Can you see it? They're like,
okay, where are we? What's going on?
Yeah.
And so they're still in shock.
Yeah,
Right?
it hasn't.
So you haven't really registered that.
No, that one in
being
blue is
commanded.
frowning. No, that one in blue is frowning.
That one is sharp. It's sharp.
But he stood up. He's frowning.
Because everybody.
But constitutionally, as we said before, you know, the Obas, rulers have all been, you know, somewhat subordinate the hierarchy of things. That they only call them for maybe just to come ceremonial issues or the insecurity issues. They can call them as will. So they're not totally empowered. And they've been trying. I know there was one of the Obas that came to our show many years ago. He was trying to say they need a constitutional role.
Yes.
They need to be given constitutional roles so we know what they stand for, what they are. And we need them, especially in security issues. So the fact that they are at the mercy somewhat of the powers, the ruling party at the moment, it makes them, it whittles down their essence.
Yes.
I mean, look at what happened.
That must be reviewed.
And that's why I say we have not removed the vestiges of colonialism.
Yeah.
Look, we are calling our president, our governors, excellency, whether they're excellent or not, excellency.
Yeah.
Is part of what we used to have to call
Inherited.
the Oyimbos at that time, because they felt better than us.
Yeah.
So now our own leaders too, instead of them to just drop that, I think the only person that has done that is Sonolu. Don't excellence me.
I'm Mr. Governor.
I'm Mr. Governor. And that's it. You know, some will wear that excellency on their head like crown. Oh.
They're excellent in nothing.
So I'm so excellent that I can lock you out of my house. I lock you out of your office. It's because when you stop all this giving yourselves titles, you will now start working. Because if not, why would you tell Obas? Obas are just supposed to respect. So even if they're offended, call them secretly.
Let's go back to the watered down YK, because we've seen the Oni, the former Oni and the new Oni, and people say you can't really compare when it comes to presence, charisma, and even the authority they carry. And now, when this new Oni came, I mean, I was one of those that appreciated. He was young, fresh. He was bringing a new, new energy into the monarchy, and I liked him initially. But when we now say somebody's naming ceremony, he's there. And somebody's father's starting makeup studio, he's there. They are starting, he was everywhere. Only that we used to hear, suddenly he was available. And I was not trying to understand, okay, which kind of Oni is this? Is this an Oni that is really, like, I can call him right now that you want to do a new gate in my street, oh, please, oh, Oni, come for a celebration, cutting the ceremony, he will show up.
That is what the Oba of Benin will never do.
Never.
Never. So
that is why we are hoping this new Shaun of Ogunai that will elevate that monarchy movement, because I know, because these are first class, first grade. You know, there are different first classes. Everyone that's now.
Why did they even create this?
They say they are first class.
Second class, third class Obas.
I'm talking about those that are 100-year-old kind of monarchy.
Yes,
these are hundreds. Yeah, these are monarchies. And I'm hoping that when Shaun is installed, he carries that weight properly, hopefully to buy back the regard we used to have for the Yoruba monarchy. Because right now, where it is, although Alake has been very, very he has held
dignified.
Dignified, that's the word I was looking for. He's been quite dignified. You don't see him everywhere. So Alake is one Oba that definitely we still have respect for.
Yeah.
But I mean, what else?
Okay, yeah, I was going to say with the Oni, the present one. Yes, I noticed some things too. I was a bit uncomfortable that I thought, oh no, I don't think he should do that. But isn't that the problem isn't that a mistake of the handlers? I feel because Onis come and go, but there has to be like a way or a book or a pamphlet or a process in which that they should carry themselves. That even if you have not been part of the palace for a while, when you come in, they teach you.
Means that you can't question. So if I come in...
No, they have... I'm sorry, you teach me here. But they have people who are able to say to them, there's a way you carry yourself. Yeah. You cannot be seen with this person. I don't think that they did their job. And are we, let's ask ourselves, are we really passing on our culture? Are we forgetting it? So when someone takes over from their grandparents, the people that are handling the Obas, did they learn? Were they part of the palace? Or, we just bring them from different parts of the world? This one has gone to America, this one has gone to Britain. We bring them and we sit down together and we figure it out. But there has to be a way that it is done. I think that in the Hausas are able to carry this. They've carried it for centuries. It's always the same time and time again. Yes, military has come. See what has happened in Kano State, with the empire. They come and they put who they like and remove who they do not like, and cause confusion. But you still see that those who feel that they are part of the royal family, there's a way that they carry themselves. There are some things they do not do. There's a way that they do not speak. There's some controversies that you would never see them to be part of, not because they don't have a voice, but it's just that dignified way of doing things they've had for centuries. And I'm wondering that if the Yoruba people, who we know are very, well-traveled, well-exposed, and are they forgetting, are they mixing it up too much with westernization that they are not able to carry this thing to the present generation?
I think they've forgotten. I think over time, the fact that Obas and monarchs will now take on other religions that are different from their traditional religion sort of waters it down. So there are things we can no longer do in this palace because we're now Christians or because we're now Muslims. There are some things we no longer, so at the end of the day, we're just grasping at straws. Nobody's really going down to, because I remember back in the day, for any house that probably the monarch stays in, there are people who have been there with the father, great father, as they are dying, their children are replaced, their children are coming to teach the new king or the new queen how to behave, like you said, how to eat, how to talk in public, how to greet. They learn everything. But, when you do that and you now have people say, we can no longer do this, so we're now going to so and so church. We're now going to school. We're now mixing it. We have lost the values. We have lost that traditional.
You can go to school.
Yes.
But it is when you are an Oba, you are the custodian of the traditional religion, traditional culture. You are the custodian.
Yes.
You cannot now come and say, I'm now a pastor. Chicken.
Did you see that one?
Wait.
That's
Show promotion. He's about to be.
I'm not talking about anybody. I'm just saying, I'm not directing it at any particular person.
You are right. That's why even he was a pastor. He's able to come back home and say, I'm going to be shown of promotion because he's still a custodian of that culture. Same with Sanusi, Lamido Sanusi, well educated, well traveled. But he came back and said, I'm going to be emir of my state. So it's not by education, which I'm buttressing your point. You can be educated and still understand that you are the custodian of that culture. That's understandable. But let me go to another angle, which I want us to discuss before we wrap up. The fact that the president, the former president, is still standing, but he said that he stood firmly, unapologetically, and uncompromisingly on the position that the governor of the state holds the highest office in the state. By that position, the respect, protocol, and dignity that must be given to the office by virtue of the Constitution must not be denied. Therefore, my question is, the problem is not OBJ or Obasanjo. The person is the Constitution.
Exactly.
Yes.
So what he did, as much as we are laughing, he's just reinforcing what we know. So our fight, our campaign, therefore, should be the review, constitutional review to empower our Obas, or give them some kind of a class where they are not denied of the authority that they have within their various regions.
Can I tell you the truth?
Go ahead. Obiajulu. Look at what happened with the Emir and Ganduje. He woke up one morning and removed him from office. How do you do that?
At will. At will, yeah.
At will.
And broke them.
But you know that till today, Sanusi, he still wears the turban. He still dresses like an emir.
And
he still calls himself an emir.
Yes.
And carries himself with this.
That means Ganduje just did it because him and Sanusi had
whims and caprices.
Yeah.
That's what you feel like. Let me
should
take
not
this
be
call.
allowed.
I'll come to UBC in a second. Wale, thanks for calling. You're live.
Yeah, good morning.
Morning.
Morayo and members of the team.
Yes.
I thought what we should be talking about this morning is to publicly, openly condemn the action of the former president. What he did was unruly. What he did was not acceptable. And I was just wondering, even as I was watching the video, what example is my dear former president setting for the Nigerian youth? Whether the others are first class, second class, or third class, it's not even the issue right now. What we are saying is it disgraced the Obas in public.
Yeah.
What he should have done was to have just discussed that with the governor and the Obas afterwards, and not in front of the camera. That was not acceptable. I think we need to condemn that.
Yeah.
And I could even see some of the others smiling or laughing. And I can tell you that it hadn't done on them at the time. The ones that were laughing or smiling, they were just laughing and smiling sarcastically. And I'm sure when they go back to their palaces, they will think about it. What an embarrassment in public.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Wale.
Yes. So I wanted to say that it's good that we are looking at reviewing the Constitution to sort of extol our monarchs and give them the power or the authority that they are actually supposed to have. But I'm wondering how that will play out if their symbol of authority does not come from where it used to come before. So if I pick you up as establish you as a monarch, you don't have your own symbol of authority from your tradition. I'm going to be giving you my authority from the government. I still have a say on how I'm going to use you and how I'm going to send you across.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. So even if we change it in the Constitution, as long as it's the government that is appointing these people, they will still be under, they will be more like civil servants
They're not doing
working
it
for government.
according to how it's supposed
Yes,
to.
how it used to be. Then it was, there are families that must have that you come from that family, you are bestowed upon, there's what they call, like in my place, they call it ofo. You have that ofo in your palace. It's from your tradition. Your great-grandfather, your grandfather, all of them had it. Those are the things that you call on when you need to engage with the youth, engage with the people. They don't have that anymore. They're either Christians or Muslims, and governments appointed, and then you still want governments that appointed you to give you the respect.
Okay, Mariah,
of that.
you are the next Oba of...
Yes.
No, they don't actually do that. They will take from the royal family. And you know how it works in the monarchy is there's a father, son, or maybe a different family who is supposed to go ahead. But maybe when our government steps in,
There's a dispute.
they would not go with the family that is meant to go ahead. They'll pick a different family, but they're all from the royal family. So at least they're able to, it's not someone completely outside the royal home, or else the people will definitely revolt.
Let me read this message.
But you're right about you.
There is a...
Let me read this message. Obasanjo might as well have spat
I'm telling
on the Yoruba heritage
You
with what he did on Friday. So this person believes that with his utterances, even the posture, the way he was saying it, commanding them, was already showing that, listen, I have no regard for you. So he's almost totally condemning an entire culture, heritage, and race on what he did.
Do you blame him?
So that's the problem. But you see, as you said, do we blame him? Because he feels I am a president, he's a former president, governor, we have bigger authority than you. So wherever we are, you must subject yourself to us. So either way, how do we right this wrong? Because we obviously have that sentimental attachment to our obas and our monarchs. We have it, although we don't always acknowledge it. But now that we've seen how they've been disgraced and embarrassed, we're now feeling, how could you talk to my Oba like that?
We actually, to be honest, Nigerians, we don't
have any
we don't have any respect, to be honest, from what I see. We talk about them on TV and we call them out for some behavior. Yes, there's some things we feel that they have done wrong, but we all do that in one way or the other. We have seen Wike call people, call them out, call their names on TV. What are we saying? Nigerians, the only times we stand up for them is when someone does it, then we now remember to shout on them.
Yes,
we all disrespect them.
The reason that a Wike can do that to the Obas or the kings is because it has been whittled down. It has been, you will put somebody who is not supposed to be there. He's obviously not supposed to be there. You will make him an Oba. Who is going to respect him?
And again, YK, what happened to these powers they have? Imagine even if a governor talks to you anyhow. If you had the Oba and you had power back in the day, that night he will find rain in his room. Or he will find all sort of crippled.
You bring your offer.
He himself, next time when he sees you, he will respect himself. Because imagine if Boston had gone to bed and now found scorpions on his bed. That these Obas had come together and thrown scorpions on his bed.
We
will not make an mistake again. So all our powers
now, they are not Christians and Muslims.
So the powers now they show.
The
powers they had.
There's
We
a
don't have
message here
anymore.
for Obi Ajuni that I must read.
Did we have them?
Yeah, Structure says, BC, say, I remember back in the day. Which day? How old are you?
You could forget my family is a royal family. I saw some things growing up.
You know,
I just had to
so
look that.
we don't have talking about whittling down. We don't have those powers anymore.
Yeah.
Even when
You
this
cannot have it again.
Did we have them?
remember why this
Did we
Mariam,
have them?
remember
Did we?
doing this guy that was very popular that had to go to exile to the Cotonou. The guy was very popular in the last few years.
Oh,
Okay,
Yoruba Nation.
Yoruba Nation guy. Igboho. He has power. They did not catch him. Power. They said they killed Kat. They caught him. So all the power we are screaming, like, maybe is there really power?
There was at the time.
Really?
There was, but
you were
now
there in the
it's been
streets.
watered down. I know what
let
I'm
me tell you,
saying.
Because when I watched
And it's been watered
when I
down.
watched
It's
the
been watered
documentary of how the colonialists invaded us, I was like, where was the power?
Aha.
Why did we not just call thunder and then
Scatter of them.
They came and they decimated.
They did.
No,
I saw how they did with Lagos. They came with those things and they decimated Lagos.
What happened to the power?
And the Obas at that time had to
Had been
bring
rituals.
themselves down and pay obeisance to the
Power
white
past
man.
power,
So
be
I don't know if there really was
the
power, but
ones
I
that
feel that
fought,
we had
the ones-
folk tales.
Some fought.
Yes, they did. You know, they actually stood up for themselves, but
the so-called-
their power could not compare. But I'm saying that maybe we never really had those powers. We had stories that we told to scare, you know, to
Yeah, I
make
don't
sure we
know
stayed in
that
life.
we have- I can't-
But I don't really think
You
that
can't
we
verify.
had.
Because
Yes.
if it was back in the day that Obasanjo did this,
What will happen
overnight-
to him?
overnight.
Not talk again.
Yes, now he backed like a dog for the rest of his life. I heard a story. Somebody backed till death.
Maybe it's meat
big man, big Yoruba man. Yeah, I've forgotten his name. That he backed till he died.
Yes, something like that.
I can't remember.
that
his
was-
Oh, we
name.
did not see. You see, you don't even
We did not
remember
see
his
it.
story.
When somebody will text me. his
Let me
name.
take this
But
call.
let me just.
There were no
Can you
powers
remember?
like
Let me
that.
let you go. No, you're 60. Let me
No,
let
no,
you go.
no.
I take the call. Are you sure you forget? I'm not going to Hassan, thanks for calling, Hassan.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning. Good morning.
All of you spoke well. And above all, YK spoke very, very well. You see, one thing very clear here. Let me correct one notion by Emmanuel. Forget about what politicians are saying about Obasanjo. Obasanjo is a complete Yoruba. He's a complete Yoruba. Number two is about the history of the traditional system. How, it became divinized by the colonial masters, then followed by the people that took over after the colonial masters, which was well explained by Denny. You understand? Most of these guys, they are now civil servants. The traditional rulers are civil servants. Anywhere in Nigeria, they are civil servants now. Go to Sokoto. Sultan was removed by General Sani Abacha. Even the grandfather of Sanusi was removed by Ahmadu Bello Sardauna. And Ganduje was removed.
Hello, Hassan. Oh, goodness, I was enjoying that. Oh, I'm so sorry, Hassan. Please try to call back. We need to hear you. I'm also told that we have the Oluwo of Iwo on the phone to speak to us. We'd like to hear his perspective on this. Good morning, sir. Thanks for calling.
There's a comment here about him, too.
Let's see.
Hello, are you there, sir?
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
How are you?
Very well, sir. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. We would like to hear your perspective on the matter that happened with the former president and the monarchs that he commanded to stand up and sit down.
Baba Obasanjo, the former president, is our very respected traditional chief. It belongs to the traditional system of Nigeria. Baba is well respected and as a two-time president, head of state. Yeah, we do respect. But when it comes to the gatherings of monarchs, I was not there, but what I heard, they didn't stand up for the governor. Normally, it's a thing of respect. There is no way stated in the Constitution of Nigeria that kings must stand up for the president, or because the Queen of England doesn't stand for
doesn't stand for the family. Well, when it comes to respect, yeah, definitely, if the president or the governor wants to greet me, I will stand. You know, it's a respect thing. And when it comes to that situation that the kings didn't stand up, which I don't know why, saying the governor and the former president, I think what Baba should have done, what the former president should have done is not to scold them in public like that or give them a marching order like in the military, like talking to children. It's over 30 monarchs. And that has belittling the old traditional system of not just Nigeria, not just the Yorubas, but Africa as a whole, the black race. It's like belittling them. That video went viral.
Yeah.
That video went so viral that people around the world would say that a former president gave over 30 monarchs, 30 kings, gave them a marching order, stand up. If I was there, I would never. Over my dead body, I would never stand up.
So let me get a few questions in for you, because we discussed earlier, one of the things the lady said was that the reason why this happened is probably because of the essence of our monarchs have been watered down either by the constitution or even the behaviors of the monarchs themselves. You know, we are seen at parties. You know, back then we don't see a lot of obas going to parties and hanging out, especially in the southwest. From the southwest, all our kings are always going out. To the respect and regard we should have for them, the sacredness of that authority is no more there, don't you? What do you think?
Regardless of what traditional, which we're supposed to amend some things in our constitution, regardless of what kings have done, the former president belongs to the church. He is a Balogun. No. If my own Balogun does that, the Balogun of the Wo, who is the former president, believe me, I would derobe him of his chieftaincy. That day, I will never let him take that chieftaincy to anyone. When you belong to the traditional setting, it's like belonging to the military and then bringing the whole military down. And then you are not part of them. Baba should have just all those things after the meeting and just tell them, please, don't do this again. Don't let this happen. I'm a chief and I shouldn't bring down the king. His own chieftaincy was given by a king. So it doesn't matter if Baba is well respected in society, not only in Nigeria, even overseas around the world.
Right.
It was so we respect him. Okay. And I believe I will respect him. If he's coming, I will stand up for him, but not to give a standing order.
All right.
Stand up.
Point taken, sir.
No.
Thank you so much, sir, for joining us on this, to giving us some clarity on that. Thank you, sir. That was...
the person I was talking about was Chief Bode Thomas.
Yes,
yes. They said he disrespected the Alafin.
And he backed till he died.
And he backed till he died. They said he didn't talk from that day till he died. Oh.
So that's what they said, though.
That's what many people on YouTube, they have sent me texts.
They're all talking about
the Alafin Adeyemi, the father of Alafin Lamidu.
So that was the authority.
That's the father of the Alafin that just died.
Yes. So that's the authority they had. That was the fear we had for them. But today, for even a past president, because even though the constitution empowers the president and the governor, right, to do as they wish, but when you still fear that, this monarch I'm about to talk to, this monarch, they have some powers behind, you will still respect. That's what will constrain a governor, a president, to not disrespect a monarch, because he also understands there's a higher authority. In quotes. Yeah. I'm just saying now.
We should be careful, because we don't want someone who has those kind of powers to be angry just for being angry's sake, and then also use it.
No, you can't be angry for being angry's sake.
No, they're human beings as well now. And there were people, we know there are stories of obas who were not, who were not good people as well, or good obas. And they would punish people anyhow, people were were sentenced to death for really not what they did, but because, you know, they had no one to speak for them or the Oba decided. So where we are today, we need to find a balance, right? And the balance is not for us to have these magical powers where we can ask people to be barking and jumping. I don't want that, honestly. But
it's not magic, honey.
What we want is respect for that office. And also, I think one thing that the Olu of Iwo did not really address is also what is important today, which is we do not want to see our Obas acting in such a way that brings disrespect to their name. We don't want to be reading about them in the tabloids, about gossips. We don't want them to, you know, carry themselves in such a way that, you know, we're not sure. There's a way, we don't expect to see you in public all the time. Before we can see you, let people understand that it's hard to be able to see an Oba come to even visit you or come for your event. It brings respect.
Yeah.
And then when he finally speaks, he speaks, you know, with wisdom.
Yes.
And we need to be careful. I think the council needs to also sit down and talk about the code of conduct, how they should behave themselves.
Yeah, let me take Sandra. I respect Yoruba people to calm down. Sandra, thanks for calling.
Morning.
Morning, Sandra. You're live.
I want to contribute to the topic.
Please, go ahead. Go ahead.
I want to tell you, I want to be clear about something that all of us know. Our Obas or monarchy or whatever, how do they come in? In those days, how do they come in? Now, how do they come in? You can see in a particular village or a particular community that they will have their own things as per the traditional way. And the government will come and impose somebody. And the one that he imposed is the one that's recognized as the Oba, as the chief, as the OB, and they are the one paying them. The cheapest whatever they are paying them, they are the one paying them. So if it is you choose somebody, you pay him, and you are working him, and he didn't stand up, wait to know how he came in. What do we be saying? And Obasanjo at his age, naturally, the mama that just spoke to you was right. Naturally, they are supposed to stand up. But it's not that you have to command. The man was completely 100%. But if I'm on their shoes, definitely a president like Obasanjo at his age and everything, I will naturally respect myself to stand up. Not because we command, because it's a natural thing in Africa. When you see an elderly person, and that is well overplayed, you do that. But what I'm even saying is, they don't Who is choosing them?
Thank you very much, Sandra. You know, there's a comment also that that I wanted to say. This is from Otumba Karim. Baba Obasanjo defecated on the culture of the Yorubas. There are ways to correct a wrong. Insulting the collective crowns is indeed an insult. How I wish the late Alaafin of Oyo or Awujale was there. You'd have seen a different scenario. Baba went too far. Now, I was going to talk about the gods. Because since even the gods they have... Even the gods themselves seem either they've been watered down or they have given their life to Christ, or they've left, or they've moved to a different country. Because usually back then, even you see one of the reasons why we don't respect is because when you bring an Oba who's not supposed to, if you're the rightful king, and I put BC, what used to happen the moment I put BC, something happens to BC, or some land, the village, they realize something happened. But now, I put BC, and BC will just reign. Flourish. Nothing happens. So there's no consequence. So there was no consequence of those.
The royal seats in Aneho, for instance, because I went to Togo recently. When the king dies, it's someone from that family that will be installed. Then there has to be, because until they bury the king, they must bury the king. It might take years to bury the king. There's somebody they put, the regent,
to hold
the throne.
Placeholder.
If he takes the position as king, he dies. So he will never agree to take the position.
I'm saying that you see, we know those stories, but we have found that if that regent, I'm not saying in Togo, I'm just saying in other scenarios, if that regent stays and says, I'm not handing over this crown, nothing will happen. The gods are going, nothing will happen.
Maybe
we lack of consequence.
Maybe things are happening, but we don't know. We are not perceptive. You know, we have gone through a whole lot in our country. We've been struggling for how many years? Who Who knows?
Because of this.
Maybe we have not, because we're not giving respect to where whom respect is due.
Oh,
and that's what we
you
are
not coming to my way
So
of
the
thinking.
gods, I don't know.
You are
So
coming to my
I
way
don't
of
want
thinking.
Ojuju Calabar. I don't want
What
that.
I think is the gods have
This land.
The Baba that just spoke,
No,
I've
those are
seen him
Japan.
in
Yes, the gods have
Imam Toban. I've seen him, and you're an Oba.
Shouldn't do that.
The
You
gods,
shouldn't do
the
that.
gods have traveled, and one of the reasons the gods travel is they cannot be dragging space with the religions that we have brought. One must give way. You can't serve two masters. You cannot. It's not possible.
So which one do
The
we
Oba of
prefer?
Benin, before
So
he
if
became
you
Oba,
want to be a Christian, be a Christian. If you want to be a custodian of tradition, be a custodian of
Simple.
tradition. I don't understand
What
why they are
does that
mixing
mean?
it.
What does that mean to
Simple.
be a custodian? What does that
You
mean?
hold your tradition, you hold your gods.
So you have
your
all
tradition
those-
comes with your gods.
So you have all those powers where you can tell someone to back. And
No, it's not using it for
we're
evil.
not-
Using it
I'm not
for
asking
evil.
you there.
Using it for
No,
evil.
no,
Hold on now.
Yes, I'm
I'm
not
replying.
saying no. Let me see. I'm not even saying use it for evil. But I'm saying let's remember there used to be blood sacrifice. There used to be.
that's what they fed you.
They still
is
even
what
with
they fed you.
even with the ones that
What
are
do we
Christians
want?
and Muslims that are Obas today, they still do the blood sacrifice. They don't remove it. It's just that they mix it and so they make it inefficient. It's no
They
longer
used to
efficient.
kill
It's
babies
no longer
that were
effective.
twins.
Oh, please, that's a long time ago. Nobody.
No,
doing that.
that's the story that they fed you.
That's the story.
Custodians of
The people that brought the religion
That
used to
is-
burn their
That is the
people
story
too.
they
So it's the
fed
same
you
thing.
to keep you in that perpetual.
So, exactly. So let's choose one.
colonial
Let's pick a
mentality.
hustle.
Wait,
Let's pick one.
with all your
That's the story they fed you.
wait, not even education. With all your custodian of your culture, how much of it do you actually do?
Where are all your?
Am I an Oba? Am I an
Don't do
Oba?
anything.
Listen.
As a
Am I an
Nigerian,
Oba?
as a Nigerian, what do you worship? Who do you worship?
He's a
None of it.
traditionalist now.
You don't even acknowledge.
I acknowledge I am a traditionalist. Am I a Christian?
Why
That
cannot-
time I'm a
You are
Christian.
not a traditionalist, why can't you? What do you?
She
Doesn't
believes
know.
in the creator.
He says it in the word. I'm a traditionalist. He doesn't do what does.
How do you do?
Why cannot
How
do?
do you
Have you had your
know?
closet?
Why cannot do
Have you seen
nothing?
her altar?
Is it because I'm not like you that you go and write I'm a Christian on my forehead?
Okay.
I say, hey, holy, holy, holy.
You are not traditional.
That's what
Do you
you
bring
do.
okay? Why do you bring calabash in the night?
Who says that is what we do?
I don't know.
Wait.
Not everybody uses calabash.
Let me ask Waike. As a traditionalist, how do you worship? Tell us.
It's for me to know and for you to find out.
You have to find out.
Waike, you don't do nada.
How do you
don't
know?
do nothing.
How do you know?
Just do
Is it because I'm not? I don't announce in public. And
Announce it.
I'm not like you
Okay,
people.
want to learn. I want to learn from you.
do you-
It's not on TV.
maybe
It's not on live TV.
Maybe you might convert me. Teach me.
I will introduce you to
Nobody's
Maulu.
converting you.
Olu, without that foreign one. That one that came from America.
You see how you spoil your people.
I've seen.
Waike is a foreign Babalawo that schooled abroad. He came here speaking English.
So is it a crime to school abroad?
Just say,
no,
no,
be
be
separate
Babalawo
as
with
cat.
that.
I saw recently this community, this Yoruba community in Brazil.
Yes, they've been
They
there for.
dress in white and
Yeah.
they wear all the white whatever and they worship the creator.
Yeah.
Why do you do things
No,
like
she
that?
doesn't.
Do you wear white and
Paint
then
your
dance?
body.
To know. It's for me to know, for you to
Why
find
can
out.
invite me? I'll come and I will know.
Okay.
Yes, I want to
So
to
let us
see
choose
worship.
one. Bottom line, let's choose one. If you want to be a
Choose
custodian.
We have chosen Christianity.
Hey, don't complain that you will not see powers. You will
not.
not see powers. Jesus preaches peace. You won't see powers. So let's move on. Allow the constitution.
There's no
And
power
why
greater
are we
than the
berating
power of the blood
Elder
of
Abasanjo?
Jesus.
Why are we berating him? He's following the constitution.
There's no
That's
power
what we have chosen. We should
greater
stay there.
than the power of the blood of Jesus. We are covered by the blood of Jesus.
We're saying the same thing. So
are
you
you?
cannot be looking for power and be covered
who
by
is
the blood of
covered?
Jesus.
We
Choose
are
one.
covered by the blood of Jesus.
Choose one.
So what of the Muslims?
They are covered by the
blood of
You see?
They are covered by the
please.
words that they believe in. They
Let's
are
stay where
covered
we
by
are.
God.
Everybody stay in your lane.
Stay in your lane. Yeah, let's
Do the one that fits you. But if you want to be an Oba,
be an
a
Oba.
custodian, just follow the tradition. Simple. That's all we are saying. We're not saying more than that.
All right.
Cannot be
And that is why, and stop running after government people. Please. I need new car. I need contract. Stop it. Because that's why they will disrespect you like that.
in public.
Good. You just hit the nail on the head.
Yeah.
They also have caused upon themselves because they're also looking for contracts. Because they got their kids to feed.
But they will eat now.
Yeah, they want chop now. This is going to chop. They got to chop. Is it the gods that will provide?
If they follow the gods rightly, they will still be getting how they will
Gods,
still
those gods don't give you Prado. That Prado G that is now president will give you
the Oba
Prado.
of Benin.
Those their gods will
The
not give them
Oba of
Prado.
Benin.
Not give
So
them
he
mansion.
knew, he knew that when he took the position,
Yeah.
he cannot travel anywhere. He can't be just going up and down like Kini. Do you know that before he took that post, he traveled all over the world. Everywhere he went, he was everywhere. The day he took that position,
He just sat down.
Respect.
Who's that? That's the
Oba of Benin.
Yeah.
I say, and when you see him, dignified.
As the presence alone.
Oh!
Kawake space.
The presence alone.
The presence.
Yes.
When you see him, they don't punch you. They don't say, hello, sir.
How? You will be
will just
afraid
do
that
like
they will
this.
point you as wife.
You two will know that you are in the presence
Yes, so.
of an Oba.
So don't worry.
Not the one that is very...
Shawu of Oba is coming.
Okay.
Well, he, I believe, the man has presence. He's dignified, and I hope that he carries that stool with that dignity. So that to bring back the authority, just as the Alake has done. Alake was 80 a few days ago, and he also has carried that very well. So let us not totally assume that everybody in the Southwest, all the monarchs are like that.
We did not say everybody.
Because she keeps saying in Benin as if it's only Benin or monarch. There are other Benins and the monarchs in the north that are also very, very dignified.
I talked about Sanusi. Didn't I talk about Sanusi?
And the Emir of Sokoto.
When Ganduje used his own...
We have to go. I'm so sorry. We've run out of time. Time has gone. That is all we can take on today's show. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.